Okay guys, I'm getting ready to make bread. It's gonna be a very buttery bread. I'm making 5 loaves to last about 3 weeks. So I've already greased my bowl with some olive oil. I'm gonna put the dough in for it to rise for about an hour and 35 minutes. It'll be rising. Okay, over here I have about maybe 4 cups of warm milk. It's a lot of milk. And I'm gonna put some eggs in it. I just want to crack them in the bowl to make sure they're good and to make sure I'm not putting any shells in it. So that's 1 egg, 2, 3 eggs, 4. A total of 6 is going in. 5, yes. Okay, so we have 6 eggs, 1/3 cup of olive oil, 4 tablespoons of yeast, 1 cup of sugar. And you don't have to do this, but I like to put a little bit of vanilla extract. So now I'm just gonna whisk it together, and then I'm gonna sit this for about 10 minutes. It take about 10-15 minutes to activate the yeast. Okay. I just want to put it to the side, let it activate. All right, now we're gonna get some of our dry ingredients into the mixer while the yeast is doing its thing. So I have some salt, and I have a big thing of flour that I keep my all-purpose flour in. And I'm just gonna start putting a little bit of the flour. I'm gonna put probably start out with 6 cups at first. It's a lot of flour. This is so relaxing. A lot of people don't like bacon, but we're gonna end up putting more. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and put the salt in this batch. I don't measure. It's gonna be what, 4-5 loaves of bread, so it's too much work. To me, it's just therapeutic. That might have been more than 6 cups I just put in, but I'll say maybe this is gonna be salt, because that's a lot of flour. It's going to be a lot of flour because I'm going to end up using a tablespoon and a half of most of this, if not all of this, to make the bread. So we're going to let the yeast activate, and then we'll be back. Okay, so yeast is activated. So I'm going to go ahead and start pouring it in. It's a lot of milk. So I'm going to pour it in 1 portion at a time, and then I'm just going to mix slowly. And throughout the whole mixing process, I'll be adding the flour. I'm just going to keep adding slowly. You don't want to get splashed like I just did. But it's all going to go in. I like to scrape. So I'm going to scrape my bowl. Okay. Let me put my apron on, because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be a hot mess in a minute, okay? Let me put my apron on. I just need to cover my lower part. Let's keep adding flour. Get y'all closer so y'all can see. Okay, and just keep adding. It's not hard to make bread. People make it seem like it's so complicated, but it's really not. It's really not. So I'm gonna hold off on the flour for a minute, because I need to make sure everything in there get incorporated. I need to make sure I don't need to add much more. And this is a lot of dough, so when I turn it up, this mix will be going crazy sometimes. There's a lot of flour in the bottom. I just make sure your hands clean, y'all, because y'all gonna be fingernails and everything. I took my nails off because I knew I was gonna make this bread. But at this point, I like to go in and pull it down off of the hook, incorporate it into this ball here. Everything is mixed, pulled away from the side of the bowl, but we're gonna be adding butter to this. Lots of butter. So I need to add a little more flour because I need the dough to not be so sticky. And so I am going to add 2 more cups of flour. I'm going to go ahead and add my first stick of butter here to help calm that butter, that flour from flying everywhere, help calm it down. So my counter is clean. It's covered in flour already. So, all right, so now that I've worked in the whole toothpick, I'm gonna cut this dough in half, and we're gonna let the stand mixer do the work. Okay, I'm gonna put the back on, and we're gonna let the stand mixer do the work with this. Okay, So I'm gonna drop this half in the butter. It has done what I needed it to do with this portion of the dough. So I'm just gonna take it out and look at that. And then I'm gonna put this portion back in. Hello, get on there. Okay. All right. And then we're gonna put the last stick of butter. Okay, wait, yeah. Okay, so now you see, there we go. Look at the bowl. Yeah. So now I just want to bring it together as one. You see how, hold on now, you got to appreciate. See how smooth. The dough is soft, it's smooth. Look at it. This for me is very therapeutic. So here we go. You don't need any flour on your counter because guess what? This dough is so buttery. It's big, I can hardly move it by myself on the counter. So she is ready to go in our bowl. Usually I flip it, but there's no need. Well, maybe I do because I think all the grease. Okay. Flip it. And then we're going to flip it again. Look at it. So it's going to rise for about an hour and a half, hour 35 minutes. Time down by 5 minutes because I did set the timer for 35 minutes. She's showing out. She's showing out. But we're gonna punch her, deflate her. Put her on your clean counter. I'm gonna cut it in half. Actually, I'm gonna cut it in 4. And since it yields so much, look at it, it's a lot of dough. And okay. So I decided I'm gonna do 4 bread and then do some cinnamon buns with a portion of the dough. I have my rolling pin. I'm gonna create some layers in the bread. I'm gonna fold, and I'm gonna roll it. So we're gonna do the same thing again. Fold, and we're gonna roll. So this is our final fold. So I think that was 3 times, and that's enough. I'm just creating some layers so the bread will be nice and airy and light. This last roll, I want it to be thin. Okay, so it's ready for my rolling. So this end is a little uneven than this one, so I'm gonna flip this end in before I start rolling, and I'm gonna roll. These are the pans that I'm using. I have 4 of them, and I've greased them. So you don't want the bread to be longer than the pan. So I like to just fold the ends in, and then I roll, making sure the ends stay in. Flip it. Seal it. Seam side down. That's one. So pretty much the same process for all of the other 2. So same process. Fold, second pan. So now we have 4 loaves of bread. And then I'm gonna cover them. They need to rise above the pan, and that's gonna take about 45 minutes. Okay, so I'll cover them up. And then this one we're gonna work with a little different. I decided to use a piece of dough to make some cinnamon bun. So let's make cinnamon bun. All right, so dough is nice and smooth. Has a lot of elasticity to it. This I need to flatten out because I need it to be very long. It to be wide. It need to be a nice size, long. Very enough butter, room temperature butter. And you could use a spatula to do this. I'm using my hand to do it. This was almost a stick of butter. Almost. Room temperature butter. Smear it all on here. We have brown sugar. It's not dark brown sugar. Brown sugar. Sprinkle it all on here. I think this is like a cup and a half. Wash my hands. And then you want to come in with your cinnamon. Put enough until your heart is content. I'm just using my little sift, and I'm sprinkling it on. It goes on a little more evenly when I do it this way. Get the whole thing really good. All right, that's enough. Now I'm going to roll it up into a log, and I'm going to start with this end. Okay, so you want to roll and tuck it. Okay, roll and tuck it. roll and tuck it, roll and tuck it, roll and tuck it, roll, tuck, okay, roll, tuck, roll and tuck it, roll and tuck it, until you rolled it all up, okay? So now it's one log, and I'm just sealing it. Okay, now you can use whatever you have that is sharp enough to cut this. I have a piece of string, and these strings I use it to tie up my poultry or my meat when I'm cooking. And so since I have my pan in here greased already, I'll put the string underneath, and I'm gonna pull to cut it, okay? And then that's what you have there, okay? But I still say the best thing to use is a piece of floss, but this works just fine too. So just put it on there, pull it real tight, and cut it nice and smooth, like that. That's what you left with that. Cut, pull and cut. And I think I cut this one too big, so let's see if we can go back in and cut this one in half. Yes, it did. Perfect. And the string under, pull and cut. This is the big one. String under, pull and cut. They come out perfect every time. You have to let them rise. Yeah. So I'm gonna cover this up also. I'm just gonna put this on top of it. It's gonna sit about 30 minutes. Okay, so the first bread is out of the oven. Nice and golden brown. It's a big bread. See it? Big bread. So it looks really good. So it's gonna stay here overnight on the rack. I have a wire rack here, and then I have one of my kitchen towel underneath, and it's gonna stay here. The other two, they're getting I'm getting a little more color on them. They're in the bottom oven. You can see them down there. So I'm just getting a little more color on them, and then I'm gonna take them out because they've been baking now down there for about 30 minutes. So yeah, tomorrow we'll cut them, and you guys will get to see what they look like, okay, when I cut them. Guys, here they are. They're out the oven. All four of them. There's three, and the other one is over there. I'm gonna put the other two on the rack, and then I'm gonna cover it, leave it there. It's gonna stay there overnight. It's almost 5 p.m. so they're gonna stay there overnight and cool off. We don't cut them until tomorrow, so I'll show you guys what they look like when we cut them tomorrow. Here's some cinnamon rolls that I did, so they're over here cooling off. I just put the cream cheese icing on, and they're just sitting there cooling off. Okay guys, it is the next morning, and I've already used a half of a loaf because I made French toast this morning. It's Father's Day Sunday, so I did get up early and make some French toast for my husband. But look at this spongy bread. Look at this bread. This bread was so light, and you know, I thought maybe it would have been too much butter, but it really wasn't too much butter. They were perfect. They weren't greasy at all. You know, they were just nice and soft and fluffy. You know, look at that bounce back. When you press it, it's just bouncing back at you. That's when you know the bread is good to go. But guys, I hope you